My guest at this time is Michael Ferren, research scholar at the Mercatus Center at George Mason University. He joins me now to discuss the October jobs report and what is most responsible for the strength of the economy right now. And Michael, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
A net 250,000 jobs created in October, which is significantly higher than what was expected. The unemployment rate stays at a 49-year low of 3.7%, despite an additional 200,000 people entering the labor market. So how would you describe the strength of our economy right now?
Well, it is strong and is firing on all cylinders, Greg. There's no other way to describe it. 49-year low on unemployment is virtually unheard of.
And so why is that the case? Some on the right say, well, we got deregulation and tax reform. Some on the left say, hey, this was already picking up steam following the horrific financial crisis. And let's share some of the credit here. But what do you think are the main drivers?
So some of the main drivers are lower energy prices that have come from the fracking revolution that began about 10 years ago. And honestly, just the economy just gathering steam and building out of the Great Recession. If I could tell you specifically what was going right, then I think that I'd be winning a lot more prizes than I'm currently winning. So that's why economists come on the radio and try to discuss these things. Nobody fully knows exactly what's going on, but lower regulations are certainly helping. And I think broadly what's happening is that employers and business owners are confident in the future of the economy. They're confident in making bets that the economy is going to continue to be strong, that there's going to be continued demand for their products. And so they're continuing to add employees as a result. And so when that happens, you have job growth. And when you don't have confidence in the economy, when things are slowing down for one reason or another, it might be increased regulations or lack of confidence in just what's going on, what's going to be coming down the line, you're going to end up with less job growth as a result. So at the end of the day, I think the underlying story is confidence in the labor market.
Well, that's certainly encouraging. Based on the indicators that you've studied, do you suspect that it's going to continue for a while?
I don't see any reason why it won't continue. The number one rule in an economist club is never predict the next recession. And so the number two rule is don't ever not predict the next recession. So, but as far as I can tell right now, my crystal ball tells me that there's no reason to expect that jobs growth is going to significantly slow or that the economy is significantly going to slow down.
Well, let's look at a couple possible factors that might be worrying some people. First of all, we have trillion-dollar deficits again, and that can certainly mean a lot more problems, especially with interest rates rising, about having to pay the interest on the debt and entitlements and things like that. Other people would point to tariffs and ongoing trade problems that could potentially lead to or exacerbate. And, of course, we've had a rougher than usual month on Wall Street. Do any of those particularly concern you right now?
The rougher than usual month on Wall Street does not concern me. It's just part of the market adjusting to new information and recalibrating itself. So that's not concerning. The tariffs are probably the thing that concerns me the most. They seem to be gradually rising producers' prices, and that's something that producers have started to say that they're concerned about. But for the moment, it doesn't seem to be significantly affecting the economy. But that could change quite quickly, as we've seen with economic recessions in the past when people get panicked. And that is the problem with the economy, often relying on people's confidence in it and the confidence in the future. Tariffs are what concern me the most, because that would act as a long-term throttle on economic growth. And we could see that switch around faster than we would expect.
One of my pet peeves is that politicians probably get way too much credit and way too much blame on the strength of the economy. But is there anything that you would suggest to lawmakers and policymakers in Washington that could make life even better for small and large business owners?
Yeah, I think you're right that politicians don't have nearly the effect that they like to give themselves credit for. But one thing that I did propose in congressional testimony last year was a slight tweak to the tax code to allow businesses and employers to take a tax deduction for employee training. And what this would do is essentially treat investments in human capital and making people more productive, just like investments in physical capital, like a factory machine or an office building. And there's still a decent amount of people, it appears, on the sidelines that are continuing to come out of the woodwork and join the economy. And to the extent that we could incentivize employers to train them up, to get them into the exact positions where they can be the most productive possible, that would be a great thing to continue the economic growth that we've seen so far.
Michael, we'll have to call time there. Thank you, sir, very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Michael Ferren, research scholar at the Mercatus Center at George Mason University. I'm Greg Columbus reporting for Radio America.